afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Outer Realm, a spin-off show of The Outer Realm, which airs on Wednesday and Thursday nights. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network UFO Paranormal Radio Network 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM from New Orleans. Today, I'm really excited because I love having my fellow UPRN hosts come on and join me. And today we've got Kat Ward, and she is the host of Paranormal Heart Podcast. In fact, she's on tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central. And she's got our Grand Poobah on. So that's Joe Montaldo talking about rare blood types and, Rh negative blood type and its connections to extraterrestrials and such. And, Joe's a talker. He'll keep you guys all pretty amused, and we'll see if Kat gets a word in. So anyway, but at least you'll have some time to get a word in on this show because, it's so laid back, and that freaking intro says it all right there. That nice 30-second jobber. I want to sleep every time I hear it. Anyway, oh, hi, Adrian. Oh, well, thank you very much. That is very kind. In the 3D world, yes, tell me about it. Hey, Richard. Hello, Heidi. Awesome. You guys are great. Thank you for joining us, as always. So without further ado, my dear friend Kat Ward and a paranormal journey. It all starts somewhere with us paranormal people. Hello.
Hello, my darling.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm really doing well. I mean, aside from the whole tech issue trying to get started, I'm thinking, what is this girl bringing to the show?
I'm telling you, I jinxed you.
You've always got stuff going on. That's
I know.
With tech issues. I'm like, all of a sudden I have a tech issue. I'm like, come on.
Like, how many times have I messaged you and ask you, please tell me I'm not the only one? And you're like, no, you're the only one this ever happens to. I'm like, of course.
Well, I have it, only probably because you're here.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly.
So, but nonetheless, I am happy that you're able to join in the segment today. And
Michelle, I'm so honored that you asked. Thank you so much.
Oh, please, thank you. The honor is mine. So we all kind of start off with something that kickstarts it, for most of us. I mean, I don't know necessarily that there are people who up and decide, yes, I'm curious about the paranormal, I'm just going to get into it. But for a lot of us, it's either, a lifetime of experiences, or it's that one experience essentially that makes us sort of go, okay, you know what? It opens that door, and you just dip your toe in, and, or you go all in, and then hence where you are today. So why don't we start with humble beginnings and go from there?
Sure. I just want to say hello to everybody in the chat, first of all. Hello. Thank you so much for being here, especially Heidi. We chat a lot. Anyway, so for those of you who don't know, I'm Kat Ward. I'm originally from the East Coast in Canada, in a little province called New Brunswick. I now live in Ontario. But the very first encounter that I had was with the Hat Man. Now, the apartment building that we lived in is in a little town. Well, it's a city now, but when I grew up in it, it's a little town called Dieppe outside of Moncton, New Brunswick. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the East Coast at all. The apartment building that we lived in was 3 stories, and there's only one apartment each floor, and we lived on the top. And it was a very, very creepy building. I mean, before we moved in, like when they first built the building, they had a coal furnace in the basement to heat the building. So I don't know how old the building was, but that tells me right there that it's super old.
It's old. Yeah.
It wasn't a very... Well, there was issues with it, obviously. If we needed to turn the heat on upstairs in the wintertime, my mom would have to call the person on the first floor. They're the only ones that had the power to turn on the heat or turn it down so the heat could rise,
Yeah.
Just real messed up building. But so
I would love that. I would love the whole allure of the age of it.
It was cool, but and it's been torn down, so I can't go do any research. Well, I could do some paper research like at the library, but
Yeah.
anyway, when you first go up the stairs, you're at the front door, and I'll just give a little brief description of the apartment layout. So just my parents and myself. I have no siblings. My mom's from a family of 13, though, so family reunions were always huge.
Yeah.
So you walk in, and it was the living room, and then it was my parents' room. You go to the left, it was the dining room, then it was the washroom, and you go to the left, big, big, big kitchen. And then my bedroom was there, and I had a big walk-in closet. And we lived there till I was about, I think, 5 or 6, until I was about 13. And my dad, even today, says that he remembers the night terrors I used to have in that apartment. I would just scream, "The man in my closet," and they would come running in the middle of the night, and there's nothing there. But what I saw was he was around 4 feet tall. He had the bolero hat, and he had like the cloak thing. No facial features at all. Couldn't see.
Want me to put up the picture?
Yeah, please.
Or
Yeah.
is this what you're talking about, this guy?
Yeah.
All right, there he is.
This is what I saw. Exactly. And I'll explain to you how I got to this photo after. But
Okay.
this is the guy I used to see, and he would never pay attention to me. He would just walk around like he was doing, like, I don't know if it was on an errand, checking things out. But it used to scare the crap out of me. I don't know if it was every night, but often enough that, hey, I'm 58 now, and I was like, how many, like 50 years ago, and I still think of him. I still have dreams of that location.
Yeah.
And just terrifying. But like I said, he never paid attention to me, thankfully. And I would have the covers down, just below my eyes, thinking, don't breathe, don't blink, don't move, because I didn't want him to see me. And then he would just kind of disappear. Now I know he's 4 feet tall because I had somebody ask me this before. Well, how do you know that? I compared him to the dresser that I had back in the day. So that's how, he's just a little guy.
Yeah.
So, my dad didn't really believe in psychics and the paranormal and all that back in the day. He kind of learned to believe a little bit more because my mom and I would finish each other's sentences, or she'd say something out of the blue and I would answer it, and he's like, "What's going on?" It's just the ability we had, right? So one day he took me into the walk-in closet and he says, "See, kiddo, there's nothing here at night that's not here during the daytime." That kind of backfired on him because I looked at him terrified. I said, "You mean he's here in the daytime too?" And he's just like, "Oh." I was terrified of my room day and night for the longest time. Not having any siblings, just being in the room by myself, just seeing this entity. Fast forward many years, I was listening to a show called Paratruth Radio with Justin and Eric. They're now called Paratruth Reborn.
Yes.
But back then I was a fan, and then we became friends, and then now we're kind of like paranormal family.
Yes.
But anyways, I was listening to one of their episodes, and it was on the Hat Man. Now, I never spoke about the Hat Man to anybody throughout my life. I've always had him ingrained in the back of my memory because I never forgot him, because I always wanted to know what he was. Hey, Mart. Why was he there? What the hell? So listening to their episode, and it was on the Hat Man. But his was the tall one. So I had never heard of anybody else seeing anything that resembled this before. And I didn't even know he had a name, the Hat Man. So at the end of the episode, I emailed them, and Justin replied and said, "You need to watch this video." That's where I got this photo from. And I've been trying to get in touch with this person because he's Canadian apparently, but I can't find him anywhere. Anyways, he wanted to do a reenactment of what he used to see as a child as well. And when I saw that, just for a split second, I had the childhood fear and terror fled back again, going, "Oh my God, it's exactly what I saw as a child." So how can that be? I mean, two people that don't even know each other. And I'm thinking, somebody else has seen it too. And then I'm slowly finding out that others have seen the short one as well. So that's pretty much where my curiosity of the paranormal started. I still don't know who he was. I still have dreams, not nightmares, but I have dreams of my either still living in that apartment, visiting, driving by, and there's something evil coming from the apartment. And I've had two trusted psychics tell me, like, they don't even know each other, tell me that this entity was actually my guardian, protecting me from whatever was in that apartment building. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, maybe that makes sense, because he never interacted with me, never saw me. He would just kind of like walk around my room like he's looking for something. So
yeah,
maybe that was it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's fascinating when you think about it. I mean, they have these things. I mean, there's a lot of beliefs when it comes to that. Some people believe they're time travelers.
Yep.
Other people just believe that they're the whole race of beings. Other people look at them as very demonic. And there are white shadow people as well. I mean, those have been seen oddly enough, like, maybe with a bit of a darker hue, because they used to be seen at the manor. So I
interesting.
know. Yeah. So it is really fascinating. Like they're a curiosity. And I've had people through the years just send me videos of just shadows bopping around, and I've got photos of them leaning up against things that have been sent to me. It's definitely they are fascinating. It can be creepy. A watcher can be good, bad, or indifferent. Yeah, I'm sort of indifferent with all of it. I've just seen so many different sorts of entities, and some that you think would be just really hardcore or aggressive end up being completely the opposite. Very, like, a little bit, more gentle. So it's really not always what we think, but it's an anomaly nonetheless. So I mean, you've done, fast forward, here we are, and you've done investigating and things of that nature. So have you ever come across other shadow beings? Or
I haven't, no. And curious, I can't remember if the team has. It's just really weird. That was the one and only shadow entity that I saw. And anyone watching or listening to this, if ever you've encountered not the shadow man, but the hat man, the short version, please message me, because I'd like to compare our encounters, find out when did it happen, where are you located, just doing a little bit of research. And if you want to talk about it on the show too, you can. But it's just,
they
crazy.
Come in all shapes and sizes. So it is really, it is really interesting. I mean, I knew a family who were terrorized by a hat man, also a taller one. I mean, just terrorized for years. It's crazy. It's just, and eventually other things came in as well. So it's just insane. But it's just, there's a long backstory with it. But it's it's fascinating how many places that people I've helped who have had aggressive entities, and I would say 70% of the time shadows have been seen there. Sometimes the hat man, sometimes just regular shadow people. If there is such a thing as a regular shadow person, but so you moved from that point. He didn't follow?
Nope, never saw him again.
Yeah.
But he still haunts my memories.
Yeah, they're creepy. They can be creepy. So have you moved into any other places where, paranormal activity was present, or, maybe that you yourself generated through your travels?
I don't know if I've ever generated anything, but there's 2 houses that we lived in. First of all, when my husband's retired military, so we've been posted to various places. And anybody who knows about the PMQs, the military housing, there's a lot of people that have come and gone through there. There's a lot of emotions, whether it's good emotions, bad emotions, whatever. There's a lot to unpack in PMQs. When we purchased our first house, when we moved to Alberta, right from the get-go, my daughter's sensitive too, and we could sense something. And I knew that it was an older gentleman. I pictured him as white hair, slicked back. He had a gray suit, a really nice gray, 3-piece suit. He was still in the house. We bought the house from this woman. They were the original family. Like they raised all their family in that house. We had a really nice chunk of land for where we were. It was just, it's kind of like I can't remember how big the lot was, but it was a really nice lot. So the husband of the woman that we bought the house from, he loved gardening, and I guess he had back in the day 3 or 4 gardens. Really, really nice. So my husband has a green thumb. I have a black thumb of death when it comes to plants, so I don't touch anything. They actually wilt when I touch, but whatever. So I asked my daughter one time, I said, "Hey, are you sensing anything in the house?" She goes, "Yeah." She says, "There's this man." She gave the same description and told me where she saw him too. And I thought, okay, nothing bad. I was laying in bed. We'd been there maybe a week, and I'm laying there. So it was a really, really old house, structurally sound, but they had carpet on carpet in the bathroom. Luckily, I had a steam cleaner, so that sucker got cleaned quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the closets had the sliding doors, but there's 2 cabinets up on top that you had to open, and the prongs stick in. So when you open it, you actually have to use some muscle. So I'm laying there one night wondering, okay, when are you going to show yourself? And all of a sudden I heard, and I looked up and one of those doors opened. My husband's sound asleep. So I just got up, closed it, smiled, said thank you, and I went to sleep. But the heat, it was an old-fashioned thermostat that was in that house. It wasn't anything that was programmable or anything. It was either on or off, and, the heat would kick in, even in the summertime, like 27 degrees Celsius. It's just like, okay, you're killing me here. This is really hot. I thought maybe it was the kids getting up. I would sleep with my bedroom door open. The kids had their doors closed. And again, when you opened or closed the doors, they made a really loud sound. So, and I'm being a very light sleeper, I would hear when they got up, but I never heard them get up. So, and I would ask them, "Are you guys getting up?" Thinking maybe in their sleep or something. And they said, "No, we're not turning the thermostat on." So what I did was I put a whole bunch of sheets of paper on the floor far enough that you can't reach it from standing at the end of the papers, because I wanted to see if somebody did get up, I'm going to see the crunching in the paper. Sure enough, heat turns on that night. I get up and I go look, and the papers are undisturbed. So then I had to tell him, I said, "Okay, you can stay here, but you can't be playing with the heat here, because I have to pay for it. You don't." So I said, if you don't stop, I'm going to get rid of you. But other than that, you can stay. And he stayed.
Yeah.
Didn't do any little things like that anymore. But it was interesting because my next door neighbors, they're an elderly couple, very, very welcoming. And they invited me over for coffee one day. And I didn't tell them what I did. So I just asked, "Oh, what were the neighbors like?" Because she used to be their housekeeper, going and tidy up the house and everything. And she gave me a description, and exactly what the gentleman looked like is how she described him.
Wow.
Yeah. So inside I'm going, "Oh my God." I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So after we're done the coffee, I go home and I'm like to my family, "Guess what?" So she just validated what Victoria and I were seeing in the house. So that was amazing.
So how did he pass? Like, was he there in visitation, or was he stuck? Did he just want to stay home?
No, I think what had happened, my feelings are that there's a new family in his house, and he wants to know who's in his house. And plus he was a gardener, and are you going to do anything to the house and property that I'm going to get mad at? But then he realized that, no, we're a family. We want to bring the house back to life, try to do some minor renovations. We're only there for 3 years, so we didn't really have enough time to do lots of renovations. But my husband, being the green thumb, he would plant a couple of gardens and everything. And I felt that he was there checking up on us, and then he accepted us, and then he was just hanging out.
Right. So was he grounded though? Like, or was he just like, because usually when they've moved on, they're not as finicky. Like in the manor we had, the lady of the house who was moved on. She just loved her house so much that she wanted to be there. But there were a lot more of them who were part of the family who were stuck. You know what I mean? So sort of like, okay. So just a curiosity, if you knew if he was sort of grounded or as a spirit, or was he there pretty much in visitation?
That I don't really know. Yeah, I have no idea. I never even thought to try and find out. I just knew he was there, and yeah.
Yeah, because what Wayne was saying, because I wonder if the spirit was feeling the chill that sometimes goes along with ghosts and apparitions, is what I'm thinking. We're going with that. If he
Mm-hmm.
lived there and was feeling cold, he would naturally turn
Yeah.
up the heat, which tells me, I think, with that I wonder if he was grounded because he felt that
Mm.
residual or that instinct to just do that, whereas it would not matter otherwise, So
Yeah.
curiosity.
And it wasn't residual too, because he would interact. So I
Yes.
knew,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but those residual feelings for him,
Yes,
the
yes.
habit,
Yeah.
because old people are always cold.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Makes sense, right? So interesting. So then, of course, you had to leave.
Yep.
And then you end up leaving this guy behind.
I did say my goodbyes.
Right.
I didn't just leave him hanging, I just said, well, thank you, and we thought we were going to be retiring there. So that would have been crazy. So the little town we lived in is called Wainwright, Alberta, and I have never felt a town so it was very ancient. There's lots of activity in that town. I mean, they used to film old black and white westerns back in the day.
Crazy.
And there's buffalo everywhere, it's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an old town that has a lot of energy. But I had to tell him, it's like, I'm sorry, we thought we are going to be retiring here. I hope you're going to be kind to the next owners, and I hope they'll be kind to you.
Yeah.
And
that's nice.
if you want to move on, you're free to do so. But I'm curious to find out if he stayed. Don't know the owners, so
it'd be hard. But it's definitely it's a curiosity as to so many reasons why they stay behind. But Adrian made a good point too. She goes, maybe the heat fed him energy to manifest as well.
Maybe.
And Wayne says, he has problems with big words. Yes. Oh, Wayne. Anyway.
Oh, what a hoot.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you move on to the next place again, and this one was also haunted. It's a curiosity how you seem to end up in these places. Sometimes they're drawn to us specifically, but it just seems in this case it may have been location based.
I think so. So we go on our house hunting trip, like the military, when they post you and you go looking for a place to stay, they give you 5 days to find a house.
Jeez.
They don't give you, So a lot of realtors, they already know this, and they kind of specialize in military moving, so because they know that it has to happen fast.
Yes.
So in 2 days, we saw over 20 houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I kept telling my husband, I said, it's really interesting. All the houses that we've been in felt neutral. It was like not happy, nothing bad. It just neutral.
Yeah.
And finally, the house that we chose, I looked at him and I said, this house feels happy. And this is the one that we wound up buying. But there's this one house. Oh, Lordy. It only has 2 houses on the street, and it's by the river. It has about an acre of land, which is a lot for the town that I live in, for that location. So we get out with the realtor and we go to look at the house, and there's a military guy there. He's being posted, and he's there with the Packers. He's in the process of being posted out. So we're going through the walkthrough with him and all the Packers there. As soon as I set foot on the property, I felt something wasn't right. The first place that we looked at was the attic, because they turned it into a bedroom. So you go up the stairs, and it's a nice big windows. And I thought, this is going to be our bedroom. This is really cool. So I get halfway up the stairs, and I'm slowing down. And my husband looks at me and says, you're picking up on something? And I said, yep. He says, not good, is it? I said, no, it's not. All of a sudden I saw these. It's like, as soon as I set foot on the property, it's like I woke something up that was very, very ancient. I've never felt anything like that before or since. And it was anger that I woke it up, and I was just like, okay, great. So I'm trying to collect myself and just kind of push that aside. We go to the basement, and our realtor didn't know what I did. I didn't tell him. And all of a sudden I just looked at my husband. I said, you can finish the walkthrough. I have to go outside. And I'm wondering if the realtor felt that too, because he was the first one out the door. We're all like, She closed the door.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
told people at my coworkers about that one house that I felt, they're like, well, you're a paranormal investigator. Why were you afraid? I'm like, first of all, I wasn't prepared because I wasn't doing an investigation. I'm there to look for a house. Second of all, paranormal investigators do get afraid. You know, it's a misconception that I find a lot of people have.
Well, it is. I mean, just because you're there investigating doesn't make you any less nervous about what you're going to come across. I mean,
yeah.
And I think people need to realize people sense things even through mediumship. You know, abilities vary on mediumship. It's not always clairvoyant where you can see exactly what things are. Not that makes it easier either, depending on what it is. But sometimes if you're clairsentient, you're just feeling things. You're not quite sure of what you're looking at. And when you're dealing things that are really ancient, it could also have been elemental. You know, especially near the water and trees on an acre, and elemental spirits can be really hardcore as well.
I never even thought of that. Whatever it was, I saw the eyes open in my mind, and it was massive, whatever it was. And I never even thought it could have been an elemental. So every time we drove by that house, I was like, okay, we're not buying this house. We're leaving. See you later. Every time we drove by, I'm like, F you, whatever that was. F you. Like, I'm not. So I told the team, I said,
me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I told the team I wouldn't be surprised if we got a message sometime to go investigate that house for whoever has bought it, but we haven't heard anything. And
it could have just been that your energy didn't jive with it. Some people are freaking oblivious to things that are in their space. They have absolutely no clue, and they coexist just fine, but wonder why everything goes shitty in their lives.
Yeah.
You know, it's really, it's as simple as that, you know. Wayne is asking, is your hubby cool with your sensitivity?
Yes.
Guess you have to be.
Yeah. And he supports it. Like, he doesn't like me doing investigations. He feels uncomfortable. He's very religious. I'm more spiritual, and he doesn't, but he'll never ask me not to do it. I haven't done it in a few years, just can't get my schedule to coincide with the teams. But if I tell him, if we're someplace and I look at him and say, we need to go, he'll just say, why? And I just kind of look at him, and he knows. It's like, okay, let's leave. So, and I told him, when we're looking at any houses, if there's a house that we absolutely adore, but it doesn't feel right, I'm going to tell you. And thankfully, he's supportive that way. And even though if it might be the house of our dreams, you know, if I don't feel right, we're not getting it. So he is very supportive.
You know what? It's good because, you know, I hear so many people who says, oh yeah, my spouse has supported me while they're not. You had to hear the yada yada somewhere along the lines, you know, and then other ways you've got, okay, you know what? Yes, it is really, you know, it's okay that you do this, or, hey, I'm going to join in, you know, kind of like the situation I have now. Yeah, let's do it, you know. But of course, when you both live, you know, in the haunted house and you embrace it and you work with it, it's a lot different. You know, it's important because when you're going out there, I always say, I can only speak for myself because I only 99% was involved in malevolent hauntings or attachments, because I felt, because I've had a lot of researchers say, I'm a paranormal investigator, I don't deal with this stuff. Because you take chances, you know, and I've been on the receiving end of those chances, you know, more than one occasion, but I had more of a wider comfort level with it and felt comfortable in doing it. And this support is so important, because you have to know that at least when you know, when something happens, you've got somebody to say, hey, it's okay, I've got you, don't worry about it. You know,
well, even my dad years ago, when he bought a house after my mom passed, excuse me, and I went to look at the house, he wanted me to check the house before he actually bought it. And he says, what do you think? How does it feel? So I walked through the house, walked through the property, and I said, okay, and he bought it. So over the years, learn, you know, he went from, I don't believe in this crap, and
yeah, that's yeah. And you know what? You can't push your beliefs. It's like you end up being the life of the party, and you have those others that kind of go, I not even want to freaking put my head there. Like they can't.
Yeah.
Putting your head around something you can't see, it's really hard. And when you're working with somebody, and I'm sure you've come across, people that you've investigated for who are the same, it's like, I can handle just about anything. But when things are happening in the house that you can't see and you're hearing it and you're seeing things move around, people have a hard time getting their head around that.
Absolutely, especially if it's a family and one spouse has had an encounter and the other spouse hasn't, and it can cause a type of PTSD, which I've witnessed with our clients, because one spouse doesn't believe them and they think they're out to lunch, and then they start thinking, they start questioning their sanity too. And then investigators go in, the legit ones, and kind of, we don't judge. We're going to believe what you're saying, but we want to go there and get to the bottom of what's going on.
Yeah, exactly right. Adrian says, Kat, did this Hat Man ever invade your dream time? Did he cause any noises, or was he dead silent? Pardon the pun, dead silent.
He was very, very silent, never heard anything, and I don't know if he was ever in my dreams. That I don't remember.
Yeah, that's crazy, eh? So, all right, tell us about some of your more unnerving experiences while investigating, or maybe just being out, aside from the house you almost ended up in.
Well, before I get to that, I just want to mention about what happened in the house that we're living in now that we decided to buy.
So it's like the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, absolutely.
A couple of little things. So I think we had been here a couple of weeks, and we moved here in 2018, and that year it snowed every day. We had so much snow, it wasn't even funny. You go from Alberta, where my husband only used the snow blower 3 times in those 3 years, and that's just to clean the driveway, not because he really needed to use it.
I'm using it, I paid for it.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't want it to seize up too, so it was like, I think there's enough there.
For sure.
Yeah, so we've been in the house not very long, and my husband's in the basement. I don't know where my son is, and my daughter and I are in the living room watching TV. And our front door, we have a please use side door, because we just don't use that door. And we had the dog bed there at the time, and we're watching TV, and it's dark, and my daughter sees a light going to the front door, and I see a light leaving. But before he leaves, the front door, because we have the outside door and the inside door, and it sounded like somebody tried to rip the outside door off, because we have it all locked. It's got the little lock on it. We always keep them locked. So even the animals, like, what the heck was that when we heard that noise? So I get up and I look down, and I'm like, and I know it was a Thursday because I thought it was somebody delivering the flyers. But I looked down and I looked at my daughter and I said, honey, there's no footsteps in the snow. She saw the light go, and I saw the light as if there was holding a flashlight or a lantern or something. And then, so she's just looking at me, and I'm like, well, maybe it's the house settling. She goes, no, Mom. Well, maybe it's this. No, Mom, because I'm trying to maybe comfort her. And I said, yeah, you're right. And because I had saged not too long ago, I saged my house every once in a while. And I looked at her and said, that's why I saged, because whatever tried to get in couldn't. And I don't know if it was good or bad, but it was kind of creepy, to be honest. I mean, snowing every day.
I think cleansing your space is always a good idea. It shouldn't always be saved for the occasion, shall we say, that something comes in, because I believe it has to also be a mindset. So if you are constantly putting that intention out, that you are keeping your space clear, and that things don't just have the right to wander in, the intention alone can put up a really nice barrier.
I have a selenite lamp at the entrance of the door that we do use, and it's on 24/7. Just things come in. I've got the selenite lamp. I like the Himalayan ones too, but my favorite ones are the selenite.
Yeah, the Himalayans are natural ionizers. At one point, they were in every room hallway of my home. I still have them bopping about, but I was still unpacking things, amazingly enough. So, but they are natural ionizers, which is why I like the salt.
Yeah.
Right. More than anything. I like the selenite, but I find that they can also amplify energy, which is good, because we have good energy in the house. You want to amplify that as well. So everything has its place. It's like quartz crystals. People are like, oh, it's my protective crystal. It's like, yes, but it's also an amplifier, because people use it to meditate, to amplify the energy. So you really have to dig deep on the different stones and what they do, because I always say some of them are like a double-edged sword. So you have to be very strategic. And some of them, apparently, I learned through a crystal stone person, that some of them don't get along together. You can't put them near each other. I'm like, who the freaking hell knew? But I guess it's like magnets too, right? Like sometimes, so it has sort of that effect. So I was like, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it is neat. I've had 2 selenite lamps, one in the bedroom, one in the living room, and they keep blowing, like the light bulbs.
Yeah,
I don't know why. My selenite doesn't do it. So now I don't even have any light bulbs in my selenite.
That's funny.
Funny. It's like, is something making it blow? Like I don't know.
I have a ball, and I do not remember the name. If anybody in chat knows it, I am all ears. I cannot remember the name of it, but it's like a big ball. It sits on a pedestal, and it absorbs different types of energy. So it's believed, and I bought it from a store in Chinatown many years ago, and she said to me, she goes, when you have, let's say, energies that come into your home, then it will glow. And of course, the manner was always, so it's just like it works. It hasn't done it here. It hasn't done it here at all. Okay, we're going to get to some questions. Any UFO sightings?
No. Strange lights, yes. I had 2 encounters. One, I was a teenager, still in high school, and we went to a friend of mine had her and her family were camping. So the rest of us went and hang out with her for the day, and we're all laying down on top of one of the picnic tables. Just, it's nighttime, we're looking at the stars, and all of a sudden we see this light, and it shoots one way, and it's all over the place. And it stops, and it's fast, and I'm like, okay, that's not a meteorite, that's not an aircraft, they don't fly like that. What the heck is it? And my friends are like, oh, it's probably a shooting star. I'm like, shooting left and right, up and down? No.
Talented.
Yeah, right. So I firmly believe that was a UFO.
Yeah, Wayne says ball lightning. Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to make my way through. It's a sort of I can't even describe the color. It's almost like a cross between a yellow, light green, and beige, if that makes any sense. I can't even, and it's got like little lines that go through it. I'll have to take a picture of it sometime and then show it because it's
I'd love
ridiculous.
to see that.
I can't. I just can't. Michael says terrestrial shapeshifters. Yes, that could very well be. Michael says it's fascinating to see and hear accounts of high strangeness that show the intangibility, both historically, currently, with the alien effect to how they are perceived, inform, or causation and experience. Absolutely. Absolutely. I like it. I like it as well. That's why we're here, Michael. That's why we're here. So, okay, because I was curious as well as to whether you had ET experiences. Maybe you just weren't aware of, because I would say, and the regulars have heard me say,
The
regulars, I'm a regular peeps in my family, my chat family, that at least half of the families I've worked with, there's been some sort of other level of high strangeness, or extraterrestrial or terrestrial or multidimensional. There have been different types of beings there as well, not just paranormal base.
Yep.
And most people had no clue.
Yeah, I don't think I have. I don't have any recollection, but I would really like to find out if I have, because my mom, she was O positive bloodline, and she was I recently found out that, because she's from a family of 13, that most of her siblings are either O positive or O negative, and my daughter's O negative. But my mom would say, okay, you heard that right, or you saw that too, right? And it only dawned on me years ago that she was seeing and hearing things, and she thought she was crazy. And I didn't clue in back then. And she's not with us anymore, but so and then my daughters actually can see things and hear it. So it's just I'd like to kind of like to find out if I have, but at the same time I kind of don't want to know.
It's one of those things. I know I have. So I can't even say, man, but I'm like you that way with respects to, would I want to go any deeper than what I already know? My belief is that if I was meant to know it, I would know it.
Yeah.
If I was meant to retain it, I would retain it. Yep.
Exactly.
Right? So
I mean, sometimes ignorance is bliss.
Right. Yes. I don't know. I like that saying. Unfortunately, it never applies to me because I just seem to, things just seem to pay attention to me, or here I am, or when I least expect it, or whether things come in dreams or visions or downloads or whatever you want to call it. There are things that, are shown to me even telepathically, and I'm kind of like, and in my head, the funny thing is I hardly remember them either. In my head, I'm like, I need to remember this one. And then you wake up, I'm like, what the hell was that? The ones I meant to remember, I remember with great clarity. And everything else seems to be clutter. It's like somebody wants me to make sure that what I do remember, that I pay great attention to. And I usually will. I'll dissect all that information and see where it comes from, what it could apply to, why it would be given to me. And everything else is just like I call clutter. So I don't know. But I have an egg crystal, slightly marbled. Nope, not the same one. Nope, this isn't a crystal. It's pretty solid, actually. It's just very solid. There's no shine to it. There's nothing. I will make a point of taking a picture, and I will show it, because it's you have to see it. There's just no real way of explaining what it is. And there's nothing in this house, and it doesn't glow anymore. If something comes in, it glows. It glowed at the manor quite a bit, because something would come in and the thing would just, and it's about this big. So there's no missing it. Right. So we used to just leave it right out in the dining room area, because it was a very, very big dining room, and it was right in the center point of the main floor. So if things are traveling through, it would definitely, it would definitely go. So, and then if you guys could figure it out, then y'all can go out and buy one. And
I want one.
They're like little spirit detectors. Little energy detectors.
Well, I'm going to that gem show in a couple of days, so I'll have to keep my eyes open for one.
Yes, I'll it's easy enough for me to text you a picture at least. So
okay.
But anyway, so okay, so and I want one too. Okay, yeah, they're fun. Okay, so investigations that you've done that have been maybe unnerving, or something you've been called in to do. Like, for example, we have been, like, the surprise ones are always interesting, because, I remember we filmed at a location that we were brought into. It was supposed to be very benign. And when we got there, not only was it anything but benign, things like kind of followed the camera crew home, followed other people on the team home. Oh yeah, it was nothing of what it was, what was expected or told to us.
I have had a situation with the team where we're investigating a local business, and so it was a business downstairs and apartments upstairs, and the owner of the business knew the people upstairs, that had kids and everything, but every time she'd come into her shop every morning, she'd see little wet footprints, and she's like, what? But everything was locked up. Just a few things happening, so we decided to go in, and my job was to hook up the monitors so we could have so I could watch oh my God, I can't remember what it is. For the cameras, good grief.
The monitors.
So
CCTV cameras.
Thank you. Oh my God.
You're all right. I gotcha.
Yeah. Thank God. So my job was to hook them up. So I was hooking up the cables, and we had painter's tape to keep the wires down so nobody would trip,
Mm-hmm.
and we're still setting up. And Katie comes up to me, the lead investigator of the team, and says, "Are you okay?" And I just looked at her, and her voice sounded like it was so distant. And I just looked at her kind of like, I don't know. And she says, "Something went through you." And I just nodded my head. And then she says, "You need to get your crystals, and you need to get them now." I just dropped the cables at her feet, and I went to my case. I usually have a piece of selenite and a piece of hematite in my pockets when I investigate. Those draw me to them. So I just feel comfortable and safe with those. Yeah. I grabbed 3 of both. I was just like stuffing them in my pockets. And it was just so strange. She saw what I was feeling. And she just, I was really put out by that. I was mad because I thought, how dare you? And I stood there and I said, okay, if you want to communicate, you don't use any of the people here. You use these devices. And I was explaining what they do. Mm-hmm. I said, and if you're trying to take me over, that's not cool either. So I was really mad. So for the longest time, I had to just sit at the monitors and watch as everybody did the investigation in the basement, which was the building was so old that it still had dirt. They had a well in the basement that was boarded up.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I couldn't go down there just because I needed to collect myself and get my head back into the game, So I sat there and I was watching the monitors, and I told them, I said, well, specifically, I don't want to go down because of the spiders. I don't like spiders. So, of course, they chuckled, but as soon as everybody came upstairs, "Kat, do I have any spiders on my back?" And I'm just kind of like wiping them off, It's like, oh. But it was so strange. I don't know what that was, who it was, but I wasn't having it. And I was the fight or flight. Apparently, I had the fight.
Oh. Yeah.
It's like, not today. Yeah.
Show 'em who's boss, Kat. That's how.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I think it's important. I think it's important. It's just mindset. People, I think, may feel it's a bit underrated, and I have always sworn by having a certain type of mindset and not being disrespectful, but being in control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like people will talk about cleansing, for example, and I always say, well, it's not just what you're doing, it's the intention of like putting, the intention, a strong intention behind the act of cleansing, and having a lot of power behind the words or the thoughts that you're doing or projecting during that cleansing. Like the mindset, it's just I've worked with so many people where I have essentially just taught about mindset, who have literally were able to take control over their own situations, because it's like, I'm going to be dead one day, and I'm freaking definitely not working when I'm dead. I probably will anyway, but I'm just saying, I would rather not. Yeah, I would rather not. And kind of go from there, You
have no rest now, and you won't get any rest on the other side.
I'd like to have fun though, come back in spirit form. I'd like to have a lot of fun with that and not just be,
Yeah.
You could just do ghost stuff and just move stuff around and,
right? Yeah.
Just mind ninja people a little bit and just be a friendly ghost like Casper.
Yeah. Oh, that's just Michelle.
Yeah, but kick some butt when you have to.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So, but I don't know. But so have you had to go in and do some really malevolent cases, or have they been fairly relaxed? Like, what are your team?
They've all been relaxed. When I was in Alberta, the team did 1 or 2 of them, but I wasn't here for it.
Yeah.
But no, I've been lucky enough that that's something way above my pay grade. I jokingly say, if I have to go into a place like that, I'm calling Michelle. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, now it's great because you can do things relatively easily, through like remotely, and it's not so. It's hard because you can't be everywhere, but when you work remotely, you can be everywhere that you have to be.
Well, like you helped my friend from New Brunswick a few years ago that was having some nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how are things with your friend? Still good?
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, she moved. She's in a different province now, and nothing followed.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I remember that. Yeah, that was. You know what? I have to tell you, New Brunswick is really hardcore, and I mean very aggressive with
Yeah.
spirit activity. I mean, we've worked with a lot of families in New Brunswick, and some were really, really hardcore. And I mean, you'll say, well, I just had this benign haunting. We just saw this spirit friend of ours who went missing. And meanwhile, you get in there and it was hardcore. I mean, the whole place was just like the whole land was bad. Then there was like crime all involved around this person. And I was just sitting there going, oh, like it was crazy. The places that we had come across. Hold on. Let me Google that. Okay. Let me just Google that for a second. 1 minute. Because now I'm freaking curious as well. Okay. I'm going to type this out and let's see if I see a picture of it, I will know. Oh God. Okay. 1 second. Okay. PREH. Okay. Let me just see if I can get pictures. Nope, not that. Nope, not that. There's no shine to it. There's really nothing like that. I'm going to have to get a picture, you guys. Thank you. Yeah, okay. I do my best, people. I do my best, but I will be, like I said, one day I will be gone. I keep thinking, I slowly retire from things and still trying.
But when you retire from something, you pick up other things.
Yes, it's true. It's true. But, sometimes, I did retire from film a long time ago. I've done a couple of documentaries. I like that. I like documentaries. They're very different type of filming. But my first love is always working behind the scenes. I love that more, and the radio shows, like those are fun. So I enjoy doing those and the network's busy, but, a whole other kind of fun. Distractions. Yes, that's exactly right. I've learned to remove entities remotely and would love to start a business doing this if anyone has startup advice. There you go, putting it out there. Empathy for each other is testament to expanding civilization. Love truly is the answer. It is. And the message is only reciprocated from contact messages from ET. Be good to one another. We are you, you are us. Ha.
Oh, yeah. You know that saying.
I do, because I had it come through a device I was testing one time, and I'm like, who am I speaking to? And it basically said, we are you, you are us. It's the same. It's like, we are one. And that was the full message. It kind of went, yes. That's it. So I don't know. It is very, very fascinating. So now you've got, of course, Paranormal Heart Podcast. And do you think you'll be, the show's fun. You've been doing it really quite a while.
Yeah, it'll be 8 years in November, the end of November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's excellent.
Time flies.
It does. It's funny how, people who are somehow have had the experiences feel drawn to being on the world stage in one form or another, trying to connect with other people who have been through the same thing.
Yeah. And did you freeze? Oh, no, I saw you blink. Okay.
It's like, oh, no. Thanks, cat. No.
I should have just gone.
It's like this.
Yeah. No. So. I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh my God.
I said how people who.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to start a podcast because I realized doing investigations that people get so stressed, and like I mentioned, they have a form of PTSD, and they always think things are evil, but they're not half the time. Well, most of the time. And I wanted to have a platform so people could either listen to or connect with other people to show that they're not alone. Other people around the world are having these same experiences. Like for example, my geez, I can't talk. My Hat Man. I didn't know that other people had seen them and that he even had a name. So watching and listening to these shows just makes other people realize that it's normal. It's paranormal, yes, but it happens a lot more frequently than people realize.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think doing the shows for me has not always been about, you know, putting things out there. I've often had people say, "Oh, we don't see you on TV as much." I'm like, well, you just have to watch the shows or watch other shows. And like, I actually talk more about, things that I've done here in the last 5 years, I think, than I've done, on screen.
Mm.
But for me, it's really about even learning, bringing people on who specialize in certain things or who are, well versed in, some of their research, and other people who just want to share their experiences. But I
Mhm.
love the whole learning aspect of it, even for myself, not just to present to everybody else, but because I'm still interested in learning,
Yep.
So
And it
not everything's that's right, with the mofos. And yes, not everything is evil. Yeah.
I have to mention about one of the investigations we did about this couple and their little, I think the girl was 3 or 4 years old, and they were having activity, and they were convinced it was demonic.
Mhm.
They got pushed down the stairs. The little girl was getting knocked over, but when we walked in, and we did our walk around first, we didn't sense anything that was bad.
Mhm.
So all of a sudden, I looked at the after asking questions and everything, I asked the couple. I said, "Okay, when you got pushed down the stairs, where on your body did you feel that somebody pushed you?" And they said, "Well, my legs." And I said, "Okay, have you ever had a dog?" They're like, "Yeah." I said, "Is it possible that it was a dog going either up or down the stairs and just kind of like gave you a hip check?" And they're just like, and that's what it was, because Katie picked up on a dog.
Mhm.
And the ball and the little girl being pushed over, her toys were being played with. And it was the
Uh-oh.
dog playing with the balls and playing with the little girl. So
Yeah.
once we told them, you could see the husband just went,
Thank
"It's not
gosh.
demonic." It's like, "No, it's not."
Yeah. Yeah.
But we did find out that it was a house, and they had a huge house, and they had apartments in them. And at one point, that house had a fire, and the woman and her dog passed away in that location. So it's like, okay, it's the dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is always refreshing. It's
Oh, yeah,
kind of sad in a way that it's kind of stuck behind, but it's
I
also
know.
interesting that, you know, it happened with one of my dogs. When she passed away, we were still at the manor, and she was often seen. I hear her all the time. She had this
Mm,
little discount bark because she was like a little 2.5 pound chihuahua, right? And but she was with the lady of the house.
mm,
So I'm thinking, this is good, because I knew that, she wasn't stuck. And then I knew that, she would take care of PETA, so that they would just sort of hang out. And,
mm.
I don't hear her here, but she's been here, which is, really interesting to me also. But I love it. I love that. Life really does go on.
It
Um,
does.
do you find that there are animal spirits in many locations?
I've encountered them even in my own house.
Mhm.
We had a dog that we had. She just passed. A few years ago. We think she had a stroke,
Oh,
but we don't know. So we had an emergency to the vet, and she passed away in my arms, sadly.
oh,
I had to tell her, "It's okay. We're going to be fine. You don't have to stay here with us. You need to move on." And she just went, and then that was it in my arms. It was just like, oh, I have her. We had her cremated, and she's in a box in her living room.
yeah,
She was such a good. It was a black lab. Oh, just adored her.
yeah.
But she used to like. We had an area rug and then the table in the living room, and she used to like to curl up underneath the table on the area rug. And one day, my orange tabby was curled up there, and all of
Mhm.
a sudden, he's hissing, he's spitting, he's all like his hackles are up, and he runs down the hall. Then he comes back and he's peering around the corner, looking at that spot. And I'm like, "What is going on?" And I thought, oh, Molly must have been there, and Sam encountered it, and he did not like that.
Uh-oh.
And yeah,
Yeah.
and then we used to have under the counter light in the kitchen that was motion activated. The cats wouldn't activate it, only the dog. And shortly after Molly passed, it would turn on by itself. And I reached out to my dear friend, Rob Guttrow. I think he's been on your show a few times. And I just asked, he goes, yeah, she's still there. You just have to say it's okay. You can move on. And once I did that, I was like, yeah, we haven't sensed her since, but she was still worried about us.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Other than our own fur babies. Yeah. We had them at the manor. There were a lot of cats there, but then we knew there were strays who died in the area. That's all we could chalk it up to. At least for us, for that, you know. But yeah, I've come across them several times.
Yeah, we went to Picton Heights once with Linda Quirino's team, and there was another team, and there was 3 of us in total. And one of the rooms that we went into, all of a sudden I looked down, I'm like, there's a cat right there. All I saw was, actually, I have seen a shadow. Then remember you asked me if I ever saw shadows? I'm like, yeah, I saw the shadow of a cat.
Right.
Yeah, I just thought of that now. I don't see them too often, but yeah, I'm like, yeah, there's a cat there in one of the buildings that we were in, which was kind of interesting. And it was following us, you know, as we're doing our investigations. It's like, okay.
That's interesting though, isn't it? In shadow.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
Yeah. You know what I would like to talk about, and let me know your thoughts on it when it comes to animals, because we're on animals, are attachments in animals.
What do you mean, that living animals can have attachments okay.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? And then I'll go where I'm going with it.
I do believe in that because I did have an experience with that. So after Molly passed, it was during when everything was closed. I'm not going to say, I can say it on here, can I? Yeah. During the pandemic, we wanted to adopt another dog a couple of years after Molly passed. And we've always gone to the shelter to get our animals. And we got this one dog, and they weren't doing a physical meet and greet. It was on the camera. Had I known that I could... Anyways, it was, my mind's going 100 miles a minute. So we only had him for 3 days, and I should have had him, we should have met him first in person, because then I would have sensed it. He attacked all of us in the family, to the point where the last straw, like, you'd be sitting on the couch petting him, everything's great, and all of a sudden he just lunged. The last straw was when he lunged for my daughter's face, and she put her hand in front of it, and he got the wrist. It didn't break the skin, but it bruised it. So next day I called the shelter and like, you guys have to come get him, because we're not doing that.
It's really aggressive.
Yeah, that's not the dog that I figured out I had an attachment though. So a few months after that, we adopted this dog from Turkey, the dog that we have now. And I was out, and my kids called me and said the dog's acting really weird, like growling and barking and just out of sorts. So I just told my daughter, I said, okay, I'm not home. You know how to sage the house. Just cleanse the area and see what you can do for the dog, because she's able to do that. And haven't had that issue with the dog ever since, which is really weird. So I think something attached to our current dog, and my daughter was able to get rid of it. But it was just like a totally different animal, she said.
So curiosity, do you think that, because there are times where I go with it is that animals are silent. So if something wanders in, they're the easiest ones to pick on, the easiest ones to attach to, because they cannot speak for themselves. They will act out to usually let you know, like, that something is wrong. It's not the first time where, our team has gone in, especially remotely, and seen attachments on animals that we've had to pull because it's too convenient of a place to hide. However, what we also have seen is people who have had things in their space, the dogs or cats will react to something being in the space. Do you think, since you had 2 back-to-backs, that there was something that may be in your space at the time, and the one dog acted aggressively towards you guys, and the other dog got cleared?
That's a good question. I never thought of that. I had the feeling that the dog that we only had for 3 days was bipolar, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I even reached out to Rob, and I'm like, "What do you think?" And he agreed. And when I told that to the SPCA, they because they had to monitor him and keep him quarantined for a bit, and they said, "Yeah, we think he's bipolar." I'm like, "You didn't notice this before you adopted him out?" I mean, I'm happy it happened with us and not a family with small kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been horrible.
That would have been horrible.
Yeah. But I don't think there was anything in our space that the dogs would have reacted like that, but I didn't really try
I call them drive-by. Sometimes things come in and out.
Yeah.
You know, like you can be in a store, for gosh sakes, and there could be somebody that just, you know, walks down the aisle coming the other way who's got something, and then there's something about you that, and they just come in for a short time. These things piggyback all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Where they come in, there's something about you, and they follow you around for a little bit and realize, I'll go back where there's fertile picking grounds because this isn't going to work out. Probably because A, you can see it. B, you keep your space cleansed.
Yep. Yeah, and that's why I like to tell people. Actually, Katie came up with this saying: when you sweep your house to get rid of the dirt, you don't just stop and it's done. You have to keep sweeping because you're always bringing stuff in. And it's the same thing with cleansing. Just because you cleansed once doesn't mean there isn't going to be anything else coming into the house. You can piggyback, like you said, from the grocery store or wherever.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Jim says, a barn I had my horse in, a girl had lost her horse to colic. She was brushing her friend's horse when she was nudged forward with a force. When she turned around, her deceased horse was standing behind her. I think it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Horses are so spiritually in tune.
Yeah.
What
is it with that?
I just think it's how they are even in life. I had a woman send me a picture years ago, and she had horses, and she was very bonded with this one horse that died. And she sent me a picture of a spirit horse, and she sent me a picture of her horse. The markings on the face, it had this very peculiar marking, were exact. I love that. I think it's great. I've seen them and heard them jingle balls shooting across the floor. Oh, the cats, the spirit cats. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's true. Horses are magical and mystical, very spiritual. Yeah. They're gifts from the gods. Yes. Yes. I find all animals are really, I love it. But horses just have a way. Elephants are the same as well. Like aside from just being highly intelligent, like some animals are so, I mean, it's like people. Some, we're tuned in, some more so than others. I think most animals are tuned in. But it's interesting how certain animals just seem to have a way about them, you know.
Yeah.
But and I always tell people, you know, if they say, well, you know, I think there's something in the house, I'm like, do you have a pet? Follow their lead. Some people take their dogs on investigations for that reason, which, I mean, if it's a benign place, you're kind of like, okay, but what if it's not? Again, the animal risks that attachment thing, right? This is interesting. The dog may have had a sibling that passed in the womb, as my dog had a behavior that would not listen. I knew she had a sister pass as a stillborn. I released her off her Chica, and her behavior changed.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It very interesting. The ravens, grew up around ravens. We had 3 families of ravens on our property. Beautiful. The chihuahuas. We have chihuahuas as well. They're this big and they think they're this big. So yeah, the chi-chis. I do look at Paz Malone, her kitty, for validation to what I feel. Yeah, I think so. I believe that the animals will always, you know, lead the way, and just start, you know, communicating. I think I talked about this on one of the shows in the last couple of weeks too, with parrots, because we have an African gray here. And I remember most people, bird people, will know about Alex, the African gray, who was in a university out in California, I believe. Could be wrong on that. Anyway, when he passed, I guess university they were raising money to replace him. So I bought some merch because I mean, I had several African grays at the time, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm all about the research. This bird could talk, like he had over a 400 word vocabulary. He could do puzzles. He could sing songs. He could do.
They're amazing.
Oh yeah, do math, like incredible, right?
Hmm.
Well, they have like the mentality of like a 5-year-old, like they're really highly intelligent. Anyway, I was contacted by the woman who worked with Alex. And she said, I have a story to tell you. She goes, I noticed your email, my handle, I suppose. She goes, I wanted to share the story with you. She goes, I worked with Alex at the university. She goes, I want to be clear. Alex never left the university. He was in a really beautiful space there. And that was his home from the time he was little to the time he passed. And she goes, at home, I have my own African grays. They don't come to the university. So after he died, within 2 weeks, her birds started singing a couple of songs that only Alex had been taught.
Oh, wow.
She goes, I never sang these songs. I did not crisscross because it would somehow contaminate the research of what we were trying to teach Alex. So I didn't come back here and teach my birds the same thing. And she goes, and they were singing the songs that only Alex had been taught.
That's amazing.
So obviously Alex, was visiting, right? So I think what an incredible story. Spoke a message to me from my dad a few weeks after the funeral. Crazy.
Oh, wow.
I love it though. Looking into their eyes, making eye contact. I feel their messages. Yeah. I think, if, the theory being what it is, we reincarnate, we can come back into anything that we want. We don't have to come back as a person. We can come back as an animal, So I don't know. And they're smart.
I'm thinking of when Wayne was talking about that one bird that he was trying to get to say a sentence for I don't know how long, and it wouldn't, and then he cussed, and that's all the bird would say.
That's true. We tried to teach the bird how to say wanker.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking wanker. It's the easiest thing. This bird does unbelievable things. Will not say freaking wanker for anything. And I'm just like, come on. But she'll probably go back to my son and daughter-in-law. Start going wanker, wanker, wanker. Like you will. She's just being like freaking completely defiant, But I think they also find a way of taking care of us. When Peter passed away, Peter was a very unusual little chihuahua. We were very, very bonded because she almost died. And I was at the vet with her every night. And, she wasn't coming out of her anesthetic, and we were bonded before that. So she slept on me, and I just talked to her. Like we were just bonded, and it brought her right out of it. Nice. But when she passed, a few years later, I missed her because she was a cuddler. She'd lay her head buried in my neck. Aww. And she'd fall asleep. This little 2.5-pound chocolate Chi-Chi. And she had to have her muffin, and she would try to steal some of my latte like every morning. It was just like, ridiculous, But anyway, long story short, I've never had another Chi cuddle or a dog, any of the sort that would cuddle and behave like she did. So I remember, our other chihuahua got very, sad. And I said, I just said to PETA, send me another one just like you who needs a home. And she did. And this one's a little bugger. There was PETA.
Careful what you wish for.
Oh yeah. We're being broken in all over again. But it's been about 3 years now. But she's a cuddler, cuddles the exact same way. And she behaves the exact same way. But she's just naughty though. And she's a little long hair, not a short hair, but really tiny.
I like the long-haired ones.
Yeah. So arrived Grace. Yes. And the thing is with her is they tried to breed her too young, which is sort of sad. So she's very nervous. But the point I'm going with it is that even in spirit form, she's an a-hole. She is, I know, but she's so freaking cute. She's so cute. But anyway, even in spirit form, they can still, they're still there. They're still aware of the things that are going on in your life. They're very present in our lives. Because I did this like 6 months later. So, Pete, send me one just like you, one who needs a home really desperately, because people are selling them all the time. And here's this little one. They were trying to breed it like 12 months old or 13 months old, tiny, terrified, and who was so much like her. So it's just like and every time you try to go for a little pocket dog, they're just like, they go like this, right? And not this one. The guy just goes, do you want her? I'm like, she's still there? And she goes, yeah. It's like everything falls into place.
Yeah.
They still can help you. Right? So I don't know.
I had a black cat named Cleo. He would, not Cleo. That was another black cat. Yeah. Sasha. Yeah. Whenever I had migraines, I'd lay down in bed because they were just horrible, and he'd lay down pressed up against my head and purr every time. It was just like, oh, I never had another cat that ever did that.
Yeah. See? Yeah, cats especially. They're highly like independent, This is a funny story. Wayne says, my sister's in a pet store trying to get the bird to talk, and after many years, she told the bird to F-O. Well, the bird blew up in a myriad of profanity.
I know.
That's a thing.
The one, yeah.
That's a thing. Yeah, But, I do. I love it. I think the paranormal world or all of these areas of high strangeness, the things we don't understand, maybe they're not as complex as we all make them out to be.
Like my dad would say, we're too close to the forest to see the trees. We're just overcomplicating it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's just little things that, you start putting into perspective. Like even the old saying, if a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it? Yeah. It makes a noise.
Yeah.
Does it still make a noise? There's nobody there to hear it? Yes. It's still a big, the noise is there.
Yeah.
So I don't know but I'm not as philosophical as some. I don't know why I hadn't thought of animals and spirits. Oh, still life forms. Yeah. Still life forms no matter what. The teacher purged words like that. Not me. So, yeah.
But Wayne does. When you're not home, he teaches them bad words.
Wayne will be the one that misses a bird the most when she's gone, believe me. Oh. So, yes. But I don't know. I think, the paranormal journey definitely continues. I say I retired. I don't do investigations. I stopped doing investigations. When the world went quiet a few years ago, I went quiet, at least in person, and I never went back to it. Our team was able to handle a lot more remotely than we were able to ever do it, in person. And working with different ethereal beings as well. And it just seemed to be, we were doing probably 60 a week at that time.
60 investigations in a week?
Oh, no, clearings.
Oh, remotely. Clearings. I was going to say, holy cow, okay.
No.
Wow.
Even I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, I was going to say, how?
Yeah, no, exactly. No, just clearings. It was just
clearings,
like,
okay.
You probably, we committed 4 nights a week to it, and we would probably do 10 to 15 a night, and it wears you out. So we
I can imagine.
I know. And we had a waiting list, and I've had to turn people away, because now it has to be a lot less. For sure. It has to be a lot less.
Yeah.
Someone once told me that a family cat once jumped onto a woman's neck and began to bite her. She went to the hospital during the exam, discovered she had cancer. Oh, wow.
Oh.
So see what I mean right there. I wanted to remove it. Yeah, that is insane. That is just insane. See, they're so intuitive. I mean, but there are animals who I mean, they instinctively know things like that.
Yep.
So I'm kind of glad we got into the animal side of the
too.
paranormal.
Yeah.
I think it's, there's so much, there's so many different connections there. So, what's next for you? You still doing investigations? You guys still have anything planned? Do you have like any weird, crazy cryptids in around your place?
I know we do, but I don't really know of them because I haven't really done a lot of research on it. But I do know in Wilno, they have what they call the Wilno vampires that I am absolutely interested in researching.
Yeah.
The team had gone to Wilno and spoke with some people, I guess, and they're like, no, they're not. Of course, you're not from the town; they're not going to say anything.
Yeah.
But apparently, there's also something about a priest that's supposed to be or was a vampire. I don't know. I have to look into the lore a little bit more, but it's really interesting, and I need to know more.
Yeah, that's crazy. So this is almost like part of the folklore of the area.
Yep.
Is it so it's something from way back. So does it still continue on? Like are the
That I don't know. Yeah.
Oh,
Because I guess because there's a big Polish settlement there, so they're said, from what I understand, they've brought something back with them way back in the day. I don't know.
Yes.
It needs to be researched. I guess somebody wrote a book. I'm trying to find what that book is. And there was a couple of guys that were going to be doing a documentary on it, and they were going to come on the show, and then it just never happened because of scheduling and everything. But that would have been interesting to have them on the show to find out what they found during their research.
Mm-hmm. See, to me, that is so fascinating because there are. I mean, you get into like there were. Oh my God, I'm just trying to think of the names, and I can't for the life of me remember what the name was, but it was. I think they had it on Creepy Canada. And it was, yeah. Oh yeah, me too. We did like 4 or 5 segments of Creepy Canada. I love doing those. But they were talking about, I think it was also a Polish settlement. And I think it might have been in Eastern Ontario, which I wonder if this is the same one they're talking about, where there was the daughter who got ill, and it was just a small town at that time. And she basically, they buried her and people were still dying. She was coming after her brother or something like that. So they had to, they caught her out of the grave. Wow. So, but in Poland, they find there are cemeteries in Poland where they have, brought people up, or they have, gone through some cemeteries, because they're really, really old. So we're going really back into medieval times. These are medieval skeletons where they have a block between their teeth,
or the teeth are pulled.
Yeah, or the head's been severed and put down between like where their ankles are or their knees, like.
Or they have an iron necklace, I guess, over them, and they just pound it into the casket.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So there is so much stuff out there. So that one would be fun. And of course, you're gonna be in Bancroft. You're gonna look for Bigfoot.
Oh yes, I got to put out the feelers. Never even thought. Well, I've always told my daughter whenever we go every year, I wonder if there's Bigfoot around here. There's got to be.
There are, yeah.
Yeah, and then talking to you, it's just like, okay.
Oh yeah, it's
down as well. Yep.
It's insane. Yeah, all kinds of different things they find them as. But the Polish community, it's like you get people. It's the same thing with werewolves. It's the same thing, or like what we call like loup-garou. It's like they come over when people immigrate here. It's still happening to this day because we have large amounts of immigration, so we have so many different cultures and so many different belief systems. But these beliefs and maybe even beings come back. They were coming back way back in the day on ships, and here we have it. Kind of brings you back to the whole Nosferatu or Dracula thing. Coming in on the ship from the old country, But I mean, it's super, super fascinating to think. But yeah, I mean, Bancroft, there are, I mean, they have captured photos. I think there's video or photos even on a really popular TV show, Paranormal Caught on Camera. I think there was one in Bancroft, Ontario. And I've talked about the experiences even at our family's land out there with the tree knocking at 5 a.m. and things like that. No reason. He goes, nobody's cutting wood at 5 a.m. in the dark, So it's like, yeah, I guess so.
Well, there's that quarry. I can't remember the Quinn. There was that daughter that had gone missing, and she had, I don't know if you heard that on the news.
I did, and I thought they actually solved that one.
They did. Yeah, but in the beginning, they didn't recognize the wounds on her, and it was in that location where my daughter and my aunt and one of her friends had gone to the quarry, because you can go and just dig out your own amethyst and like so many other gems and everything. So I
gotta go find that. I'm gonna be digging all day to get good gems there.
Well, they did encounter all of a sudden, because it was kind of drizzly, and there was a family that was there when they arrived, but they left, so they were the only ones there, and the woods were right up against where they were actually digging, and all of a sudden this god awful smell. And like they heard a loud crack, a loud noise in the forest first, yes, and then that smell is just like, oh my God! And my sister-in-law told my daughter, "That's not a bear, because I've smelled bear before, and that's not a bear." So Victoria says maybe it's a Bigfoot, and they're just like, "Okay, we're leaving now." So they left, and the smell was following them, and then they got to a certain spot, and then it just disappeared, and they got to the car, and they're like, "Okay, so now I want to go to that location. I'm really curious."
Yeah, no, it's true. That would be fun. Well, they're there. Plus, you have the national park.
Yep.
Like the provincial park, which is like, I don't know, like 19,000 acres or something like that. No, but we had a caretaker on that property who at 5 a.m. and it was dark was hearing like tree tapping or tree knocking. He was Indigenous too, so he was doing tobacco offerings and everything. It was just like, come on, No, I just had somebody on the show that week, and I remember messaging him. I said, whatever you do go smacking your pots and pans together trying to scare it. Apparently, according to these researchers, like, no, they would look at that as a sign of aggression and a sign of war, and it might get them to react. So I message him, do not, whatever you do. I'm texting, do not do this, whatever you do. So we knew even early on, right? Heidi says, I'm not sure what the townspeople did, but supposedly roots grew out of his fingertips or something. His grave is still there as he was from Romania. So I'm not quite sure where that one came from, but okay. Oh, a vampire. Oh, there. Okay. There's what it is. There's an intriguing legend about a vampire buried in a local cemetery, and they staked and buried him. And that was the second part. Okay. I'm just trying to keep up. So anyway, yeah. So Wayne says bears are skunky. They do stink. Bigfoot's altogether different. Yeah, they're very pungent. They're very pungent. Like, you'll know. But anyway, well, that was excellent. So Tell us what you have. Promote yourself. What do you have coming up next? Tell us about the show tonight.
Oh, the show tonight I'm really excited over. We're having, like you mentioned, the Grand Poobah himself, Joe Montaldo. It's going to be a live segment because I don't always do live on Paranormal Heart Podcast because of my work schedule. But yeah, we're going to be talking about rare blood types and aliens. So that's going to be an interesting topic. And like you mentioned, maybe I'll get in a word edgewise with Joe. I mean, I could push record and go make a sandwich in the next town and come back and he's still talking.
You could. You said, Joe, I'll be right back.
Yeah, but he's amazing.
He is. Yeah. Six Gun Joe. Yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you something, though. He's been in the field of ufology for, I would say, between 30 and 40 years. And ICAR, the International Center for Alien Research. Sorry, I should know that. Yes.
I can't remember what the C stands for, but
the International, I don't know if it's center or it's something. I know it's not. I know I'm getting it wrong, and I apologize. But anyway, there is a Facebook page on it. There is a website for it as well. But there's over like 60,000, I think, contactees who have contributed to all of this.
It's
A lot of this has been
amazing.
research, and it still goes on behind the scenes. And he's got a lot to talk about. He's just got a lot to say because he's been doing this for so long. He used to be with MUFON, and
Yep.
just didn't like the way they did things. So he went on, and I guess at the time, MUFON really concentrated a lot on craft sightings and not
Mm.
enough on abduction phenomenon or on contact. So he spun off in that direction. So now,
Mm.
of course, it is what it is, but it'll be great. So
That'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. So just if you're not sure where to find me, just Google Paranormal Heart Podcast because it's going to
yes,
be everywhere.
get on YouTube. Get on YouTube,
Yes.
guys. Just join in the fun. Get into the chat room, and
The YouTube
we
is
know.
video, so you'll be able to see us.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So do that. And of course, guys, hit the Outer Realm tomorrow night as well. Tomorrow night we have joining us Laura DiDio. I had a replay on last week for you guys, and she's going to be continuing on with her own paranormal journey and how she's gone and kept doing things, so from Amityville, and I think she'll talk a little bit about when she was at the Conjuring House, and she's going to talk further on to some of the other experiences that she's had. And my curiosity is, had she ever have any of this before Amityville, because she had some crazy experiences in that house even long after the Lutz family had left. So anyway, Thursday night, I say welcome back because Marilyn was one of our very early guests 5 years ago, Marilyn Hughes. And this lady is versed in so much, but specializes more so in astral projection and out-of-body experiences. But she'll be talking about mystical theology, astral projection, divine union, and out-of-body experiences. It's going to be super interesting. She's just lovely. You guys will love her, I promise. Anyway, thank you, Kat, for joining me this afternoon and just having this nice little parlay about your experiences.
Yeah, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you too. Doing a bang up job. So guys, check out Paranormal Heart Podcast tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central Time. Until then, I guess I was so used to saying good night, but we're not there. So have a great afternoon. For those on the other side of the world, have a great evening, and we shall see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.